Hey Accuquilters! This is Darla from Sweet Stitches Quilt Shop, and it's Go Play Day, March 2021, and I'm so excited because we have the coolest projects to show you today. Today we're calling it Bring On Spring, and I am so ready for spring, aren't you? I know you are, because it doesn't look like spring's anywhere to be found right now. So anyhow, what we're going to be focusing on today is this spotlight die, which is the Tulip die. It's number 55328, and we have plenty of them in stock, but all the projects that you're going to see today use this die, and it is so versatile, you're going to love it. Alternatively, I have a couple of other dies. If the projects we show you today are kind of big and you like the kind of scaled down kind of projects, you can always look at this one, which is called Stems and Leaves. And when you look at it, you'll see that there's a shape down here. Guess what? It makes a tulip, just a little one, but it's so cute. And you can do similar projects to this, but scale down a little smaller. So it's super fun. Another option would be the simple shapes. And it has other kinds of flowers and a cute little bird in there as well. So you could do something similar to these using this die. So there are lots of options, and I just wanted you to know about all of those. Okay, so we have several projects to show you today. First of all, I want to show you the traditional way of using the tulip shape. And Joan did this for us. Isn't this beautiful? I just love it. And it's so traditional, the way that the tulips are in that traditional shape. They're very uniform, and they're in the four corners. Wouldn't this make a gorgeous block? And you can do an entire bed quilt with this. It would be stunning. Love it. And all of these shapes, except for this straight shape that she used for the stem, all of these shapes are on the die. Isn't that great? I love it. And this one she did because I asked her to, because it's so stinking cute. I just love the tulip on the long stem with the little leaves that are right across from each other. Isn't that beautiful? I just love it. And this is so much fun using the same die. So there are all kinds of things that you can do, and these are all different sizes. So you can picture this one maybe on the side of a placemat with the rest of the placemat over here. Wouldn't that be really cute on your table for spraying? Yep, it's great. And then the big one that we have behind me is one that I've been working on for a while. I've been trying to keep it a secret from you all because it's, you know, I gotta have a surprise for you sometimes. But anyhow, this one is done with the very same die. So I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. But there are some things that you should know. First of all the information, including a pattern for doing this big Bring On Spring quilt, is going to be attached to the email that you got that has this video in it. So it's all in there together. Also, there is a printable sketch for how to do all of these leaves and stems on there for you. And I'm going to show you how to use that too, so it's super easy. All right, first of all, what inspired this, besides the beautiful tulip die, is the gorgeous fabrics. So I really wanted a variety of greens in the project. So what better way than this beautiful ombre by Elite Fabrics. So it's gorgeous, and you might have seen it in the shop before because it's one of the favorites that Joan and I like to use because it's our favorite green. And so it has lots of greens in it. So it goes all the way from the dark on each of the selvages, and it has this beautiful icky green in the middle. So you'll see as we go along how important it is to have those different colors in it. But the really cool fabrics that you have to know about are these colorful fabrics. They're called color falls. And when you look at these, all of these different colors do the same thing. They literally have 3 different colors printed on the same fabric. And they even have it on the bolt in a really strange way, so that instead of the fold down the middle, they folded it on the side so that you can see all three of the colors in there at the same time. Isn't that great? So I love these fabrics, and you can see that from a small piece of fabric you can get lots of different colors in your flowers. So I think these are awesome. And I just used the cherry red and the golden orange together in this quilt. And then there are these pretty greens, blues, teals, and the purple. Okay, and so other products that you'll need in this project, in all of these projects, is you'll need a fusible interfacing that will go onto the back to support the fabrics in here for when you're doing your top stitching. And I used heat and bond because that's what I'm familiar with, but Joan tells me that this is an amazing product. And I haven't tried it yet, but you know you can trust Joan, whatever she says. So this is by Quilter Select. It's called AploWeb Plus. It's less stiff. You can see that these pieces are fused together and how really soft it is, even with the paper on the backing. And it isn't all shiny. So the heat and bond works great, but you might be happier with this one, okay? And she says it sticks really great, and you know you've seen her awesome projects. And we have other Quilter Select products too as well that will help you with your projects. Okay, so let's talk about the leaves and stems. I'm going to get out my projects here. Now, attached to this video as an attachment, there's the document. And on the document, I have these sketches that I made of leaves. Now, they don't look like anything fancy. They're nothing spectacular, but they kind of, I wanted to kind of draw things that looked a little bit like tulip leaves. And they're kind of spiky and tall, and yet they're really fun to look at too, because they're not all exactly the same. Or if you look at them straight on, you can see different shapes in there. So it's really fun to do this. So all you need to do is to take your adhesive, like heat and bond. This is heat and bond, and it has the paper on the backing. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of that. After you print this off, you're just going to take this, put the rough side down, because that's where the glue is, and then you're just going to, I hope you can see this, so all you're going to do is draw on the paper part, just like this. You're going to trace those leaves, and you know, you don't have to be an artist to do this. It's super easy, right? So there's one. And then you're going to put another one in there, and you're not going to have waste. You don't want to waste any of your product, and you don't want to waste any of your fabric. So you're going to squeeze that next puppy on there as tight as you can. Okay, just like this. And it's okay if it's crooked lines, because I'm going to cut it and it's going to look better than that. Okay? And then there also is a page that has stems. Okay, can you see the stems? And you know that when you fuse this on the back of your fabric, that it's going to actually show, it's going to be backwards. Don't worry about that, because there's a trick I'm going to show you. Okay, so when it comes to cutting your stems and leaves, it's just as easy as this. You don't even need scissors. You can use scissors if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. But these curves are so gentle on here that you're just going to be able to take your rotary cutter just like this and just kind of follow that line like that. It's not rocket science. It's super easy. And look. Well, it didn't cut all the way through on that one. Let's try again. Okay. Ta-da! We have a leaf. Isn't that cool? How hard was that? That's super easy, right? And then if you have little scraps left over like this one, watch what you can do with this. You just take your rotary cutter, and let's say I just need one more stem. Just one more, because I need to have that extra tulip on there. So all I'm going to do is just hold my paper, keep my fingers away from the blade, and I'm just going to follow that gentle curve, just like this. And there I have another stem, just like that. Okay, super easy. You can use your scissors and take all day cutting these out, or you can use your rotary cutter and do it in seconds. All right, so that's super easy. And you're probably thinking, Darla, I know they're going to be upside down, and that's going to be a problem for me, but you know what? It isn't, because let me show you. Because you know what I did with mine is I drew them all in there, and I thought, oh no, they're all backwards. So I went back and redrew them all the other way so that they would fuse the right direction. But let me show you something. Okay, this is the same piece. If I put it on here like this, my flower is going to curve to the left, right? You see that? But watch this. Just take it and turn it upside down, and my flower bends to the right. Okay, that's super easy. So you don't have to worry about which way you cut it. You just flip them back and forth, and you just have fun with it. So isn't that great? So that's super easy. And I did exactly that with all of these leaves. And you can see that some of these leaves have been repeated. Like you see this bright green leaf here is just the opposite of this dark green leaf. But it's exactly the same thing. It's just one is flipped the other direction. You can do that. You don't even have to think about it too hard. Okay? So then the next thing is, so after you cut out all your shapes, you're going to arrange them in a way that you like it on your background fabric. So let's just let's put this down like this. I like to think of them as kind of nodding their little heads in the breeze. So I like them when they have that gentle curve like that. And you just peel the paper off the backing. And you have to crumple them or they won't let go of your hand. And then you just put a leaf on there. Just like that. And here's another little leaf. Just put it on just like this. All right, so now we're ready for a flower, right? Isn't that cool? Super easy. All right, so then we need to cut out our flowers. Right, so the cool thing is about Accuquilt and using the fabric once you have the fusible put on the back of it, is you don't have to worry about the direction anymore. You don't have to worry about, okay, now which way is my selvage and where is my label? You don't have to mess with that anymore. You can just put your fused piece on just like this. You can stack, leave your paper on. Ask me how I know. Because if you take the paper off, you're going to have a mess because it's going to stick to your blades, and it's not going to be a problem for the dye. It's just going to be a hassle for you. So you just put it on there. You can put 4 layers thick when it has the paper on there. You cover it with your cutting mat, and you just run it through just like that. Okay? Easy peasy. And perfect cuts every time. That's why I love Accuquilt. So then you can take, let me see, what did I do with my flowers? You're here somewhere. Oh, they slid under here. Okay. So this is our project. Now let me tell you that when you're doing these with the light yellow, you might want to trim off the top of your stem once you decide where your flower is going to go, because you can see that dark green through the yellow. I had that problem, and so what I did is I just cut another tulip because it's already fused in place. I just cut more yellow tulip petals and fused them right on top of the other set. You never know. You can just try to guess which one I did that to. Good luck. All right. And what's really cool about this is that it's all very fluid. It doesn't have to be rigid at all. So, you know, tulips in the wild, I mean, sometimes they're just all closed up nice and tight, like a little bud like this, you know. Super sweet, right? But sometimes as they get older, you know, and it's a warm day, they just sort of kind of seem to wilt in the sun, and they kind of open up a little more. And they're just as pretty, and I think it makes it look like it's kind of blowing in the breeze a little bit, okay? So that's super fun, okay? All right, I'm going to take this over to the ironing board and press them down, and I'll meet you at the sewing machine in just a minute, okay? Okay, I just wanted to show you a few tips that I learned while I was working on this project. And one of the things is whenever you're working with the different layers of applique, you always start with the part that's behind. And that's because then when you come back with one that's in front of, it actually will help tack down the part that's behind it, and including the stitches. So let's just get started. What I did before is, you know, you don't have to get really crazy complicated with this. You can just actually do a very simple straight stitch on this, and I'm going to try to get this as close to the edge as I can without going over. So I'm going to aim for about a 1/16 of an inch away from the edge. And you know what, when you're doing applique, you can go very slow and just take your time, because this is the part where it's creative and you get to have fun with it instead of stressing yourself out trying to rush. And then you just turn at a place that's kind of convenient, and it's okay if it's not perfect or if it doesn't end exactly where you expected to. Oh, let's do one more. There we go. All right, now down the other side. You see how simple that is? I love this thread too. Let me tell you, this is iris thread, and this is a variegated one. And just in case that you see the sample that I'm doing and you decide you want to use the same thread, I just wanted to show you what it looks like. So it's really pretty, and the cool thing is that I think that because of the different color variations in it, it just makes the project look more interesting. Another thing that I neglected to mention earlier that I think would be helpful is that when you're fusing those the leaves onto the back of the green fabric, you know how we really want to have lots of different color variations in there? Well, one thing that you can do, what I did, is that I put half of the fusible on the wrong side of the fabric and half on the right side. So when you flip it over, you actually get even more colors of green in there. Rob's probably laughing at me because I keep forgetting how to lift the presser foot on this fancy machine. And so then you can really have fun with this. If you're a person who really likes to do thread painting, or you want to experiment with thread painting, this is a perfect project for it, because you can just cut loose and do all kinds of shading and highlighting with your thread. Now, what am I doing here? I'm putting one of those, I don't know what you call it, the thick part of the leaf right down the middle. You can just flip it around like this and go up the other way, and it just makes it look more interesting. Isn't this fun? Love it. Okay. All right, I'm going to change the thread and let's work on the flower because I want to talk about how to do a blanket stitch. Some tricks I learned. All right, so I find it helpful with this, with a little experience, is to start in the center here where these Y come together and then go all the way around the outside and then come back down here to stop. So that's what we're gonna try to aim for. Having our needle right there on that edge. So what I'm trying to do is make sure my outside stitch is barely on the outside of the fabric right here. And then if I have to turn, if I need to turn because it's a little bit more of a curve, what I want to do is pick it up, turn it a little bit while the needle is still in that outside position, and then drop my presser foot and then start again. And that's why it really pays to go slowly at this point. And if you have to stop a lot at those curves, it's okay, because you want it to look really nice. And you'll have much nicer results if you take your time and do it that way. And pay attention to the rhythm. So now I have, oops, hit the wrong button. I did want to hit that. Okay. So now when I take my next stitch, it should stay on top of the, yes, there we go. And then one more forward. Okay, now I'm going to turn again this way. You see how nice that turned? And the same thing when you have an inside curve, you stop. And you won't notice that those stitches look a little bit farther apart. Okay, there you have it. So anyhow, those are some tips that I learned, and I hope those help you too. Well, I really hope that you enjoyed today's program. We had a lot of fun doing these projects. I want to really thank Joan for her help in coming up with these beautiful projects, because she is a true artist and a huge encouragement to me, and I appreciate that so much. So I want to let you know that Accuquilt, the dyes, all the things you need for Accuquilt, the fabrics and notions that you saw today are all available here at Sweet Stitches. So come on in and get yours while we have them in stock. And I want to let you know too that we're having classes again, and we're having Accuquilt classes as well. So I'd love to have you in class, would love to see you. We're still keeping things safe and small classes and masked up and all that good stuff. And we're just having fun here at Sweet Stitches. I want to thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you next time.